Chapter 14, The Aftermath. You sit alone in one of Liberty Heights' many waiting rooms, still sweaty from your day on the trail and desperate for news. When a nurse passes you by, you get up and hurry after her. Sorry to bother you, but do you know anything about the surgery Carter Dawson is scrubbed in on? It started a few hours ago, and I just want to know. I believe that surgery just finished. Finished. So how did it go? I'm sorry, that's not my department. I don't really have any details. Right, thank you. He continues walking, and your stomach sinks as you remember your frantic drive with Carter back to the hospital. Carter's hurting. He's probably in trouble, and I can't do anything if I can't find him. But there's one person who might know more. You reluctantly approach Sid's office, and as you get close, you hear raised voices inside. What the hell were you thinking? Oh no. Is that... You peek into the office, trying to stay out of sight. You should have known not to make that cut. Your mistake could have cost Alex her life. Carter, standing in front of Sid's desk, hangs his head. He looks small, somehow, like he's folded in on himself. I know. You're damn lucky I was there to fix it and stabilize your patient. But that never would have happened if you were operating at your best. If you weren't burning the midnight oil outside of work. Even though you're standing outside, Sid's words hit you like a punch to the gut. All those late date nights, the hours Carter's been spending with me at the bakery, they came at a price. Your heartbeat thuds in your ears as the inside of the office, Sid fixes Carter with a steely look. So I will ask you once more, and only once. Are you still serious about this program? What? Of course Are you, though? You've been our most promising resident in years. I always assumed you'd have my job one day. But if you're going to stay here, I need to know that you're committed to your work. Our patients deserve nothing less. I need some air. You jump away from the doorway, flattening yourself into a nearby alcove as Carter stalks out of his office. He doesn't see you. Poor Carter. What the hell happened? Sounds like he screwed up. You could easily ask Sid, but the memory of him laying all the blame at Carter's feet makes you livid. It's not Carter's fault that he didn't see all those texts. I could talk to Sid, get him to go easier on Carter. It feels like you climbed that tree with Carter a lifetime ago, but you still remember how fearless you felt up in those boughs. If I can stare a death-defying fall in the face, I can convince my self-righteous ex to cut Carter a break, no problem. We're gonna talk about this at the end. Just saying. This wasn't his fault. You straighten your shoulders and stride into Sid's office. He looks up from his computer and instinctively flinches. Fiona, what are you... I heard what you said to Carter just now. How could you? That gets his attention. He sits up straighter and glares right back at you. How could I? Are you serious? He almost... And is that Carter's responsibility or yours? He wasn't on call today, Sid. Oh, please. You know how this job is. We never are truly off. But he was supposed to be. He came in anyways because your department was hounding him for input. And when he got here, he felt pressure to scrub in and help. That's on you, his boss. I mean, she's got a point, but... Am I wrong? When he showed up and asked to help, you could have said no. You were already scrubbing in. You could have handled it all by yourself, but you, Carter's boss, let him step in instead of handling it yourself. Whose fault is that, really? For once, in all the years you've known him, he's speechless. He rubs his forehead, trying to find the words as you stare him down across the desk. Look, if he'd seen the messages earlier, he would have been more prepared. Maybe we could have... And that's not on him either, that's on me. We both had our phones off for hours. He went to check his and I convinced him not to. You don't work here, Fiona. I'm not gonna punish you for... I don't expect you to, but don't punish Carter either for just daring to live a life. Sometimes he reminds me of you. He doesn't always know how to leave his work behind. I used to admire how generous you were with your patients, but then I saw the toll it took on you, on us. I took an oath to care for people, Fiona. I just wanted to be a good surgeon. You are, but you can't set yourself on fire to keep people warm. And you can't ask your employees to either. Your work ethic blew up our marriage. Do you really want that for the doctors you're training? People who look up to you? He sighs, he tugs his glasses off and wipes his face with his hands. No, of course not. But Carter's still messed up, Fiona. What do you expect me to do about that? To not write him off. He doesn't deserve to have his whole career derailed because of one mistake. Again, a mistake that he tried to help you on. You keep saying mistake like he counted some change wrong. The mistake could have, but it didn't cause any serious damage, right? You fixed it? And we can agree that it wasn't entirely his mistake. You stare your ex down across his desk, and for the first time in your life, he's the one who breaks. Yes, some of this is on us. Yeah, especially since you told him on a day off to come in and do it. So, take responsibility for letting him scrub in. You're the head of the department. You were in the OR, but you let him take the lead. So own it, Sid. Take some goddamn responsibility for the mistakes for once before it's too late. He folds his arms and takes a deep breath. Okay. Really? Really? I'll make sure Valerie knows this was my responsibility. Carter won't face any more fallout for this. And you were right. When he offered to come in and assist, I knew he was worn out. I should have made another call. Thank you. For the bare minimum. And do better next time. You've got nothing to focus on but your job, right? It comes out even harsher than you intended, but he just nods. So put it first. Make the right calls. I will. And I'll speak to the patient's family too, make sure they know we'll all learn from this. Then I'll let you get back to work. Yeah, except the patient's probably gonna sue the hospital, but... Payday. What? Shut up. You turn towards the door, but Sid holds up his hand. If you care this much about him, what are you going to do? Sid, what do you expect me to do? I know I've made Carter's work complicated, but there has to be some solution that's not just... You can't quite say the words out loud. I'm not sure there is. He sighs. Suddenly his voice shifts from angry to wary. If you want a reason for his sake, I thought you'd at least end this for your own. For my sake. He lifts his gaze to meet yours, and you see something new in his eyes. Pity. After the mess I've made of our marriage, do you really want to be with another doctor whose job is always going to come first? I mean, I won't lie, I have asked myself that question involving this book. But Carter isn't him. He can balance things he cares about and his career, and like he did today, that's on you. Mother, he's escaping responsibility and accountability. Those words make your blood run cold. I know that I choose my work over you. I take responsibility for that, but it was never an easy choice. The longer you're with Carter, the more he'll have to keep making the same choice. And whatever he decides, one of you is going to lose. Sid's words sink into you like stones settling in your gut as your ex-husband gestures at the door. I told him to get his stuff together and go home to get his head on straight. He's probably down the hole. Just think about it, Fiona. That's all I ask. I will. You find Carter in a nearby hospital room sitting beside a patient's bedside. She's unconscious, but as you approach the room, you hear Carter speaking to her. I should have known better, and it almost cost you. Cost you more than I want to think about. I'll never forgive myself, I swear it. He doesn't see you in the doorway, but you can hear the pain in every word. I don't know if I can do this anymore. Maybe I don't have what it takes to do this right. Maybe I don't want to. Carter. The moment you murmur his name, he turns to face you, and you get a full view of the heartbreak etched on his face. Fiona. Across the room to stand beside his chair. I won't ask if you're okay, but... Can I take you home? There's nothing else you can do right now. She just needs to rest. You step closer and slide your hand into Carter's. So will you come with me? He throws his arms around you, pulling you to him in a crushing hug and nods. Okay. Half an hour later, you're sitting beside him on the couch, just like that night after the gala. But this time, there's no optimism on his face. He's just staring down at his hands, utterly silent. You reach over and rest your hand on his knee. I know you're hurting over this, I'm so sorry. He nods, but he doesn't turn his head. He can't seem to look you in the eye. Thank you for getting me out of there. Of course, but you can't blame yourself too much. It was my fault, Fiona. Not yours, I talked to Sid. He let you into that OR when he could have taken the lead on that surgery. He knows that was his call, and he's going to make sure people know that. This won't come down on you. You'll still have a future at Liberty Heights. That can't have been easy talking to him. I'm grateful, I really am. But it's not my reputation I'm worried about, Fiona. It's what could have happened to my patient because of me. He buries his head in his hands. I was trying to be here, count things I see, and ground myself. But all I can think about is that moment in the OR when everything almost went so damn wrong. I understand. My brain would have been doing the same thing. You went through something scary today, and sure, you messed up. You wouldn't be the Carter I know if that didn't bother you. You beating yourself up about it tonight isn't going to change what happened. Tomorrow you can focus on the next steps, but what you want to do about this, but you need some rest. He lets out a shaky sigh and scrubs his face with his hands. I know, I don't want to keep picturing it anymore. But I can't get it out of my head. Then maybe you need a distraction. You remember that bath he gave you the day of the baker's soft opening, and how much it meant when you were struggling. He gave me that bath the day of the bakery's soft opening. What if I return the favor? A long soak together might be just what he needs to find some peace. I can take his mind off things. Hey, come with me. Where are we? Not far, I promise. You take his hand and he lets you tug him off the couch and lead him towards the bathroom. Inside, you kiss his cheek, then lift his shirt over his head and drop it onto the floor. Let me take care of you. He lets out a long sigh. I can't think of anything I need more. You kiss him, pressing your lips to his as gently as if he might break. He kisses you back, and when you eventually pull away, you turn on the tap and begin filling the oversized tub with steaming hot water. I know today was hard. I know you feel guilty, but right now I want you to be here with me, okay? For the first time since you left the hospital, he smiles. I think I see what's happening here. You're pulling a reverse. Come, have a bath after your stressful day at the bakery on me. Yes, it's called reverse Uno. Is it working? He just looks at you for a long moment, then he lets out a soft laugh. I'll try to let it out. You squeeze his hand and then grab some bath salts from underneath the counter. You sprinkle them into the water and turn your attention back to Carter, running your hands over his bare chest. You lean forward and press a kiss to his pec, then you nod towards his belt. Pants off to... He's quiet as you help tug off his pants and underwear, and he's naked before you. You meet his gaze with a smile. Good. But, unlike when he drew a bath for you, this time you undress as well, taking your time to remove one piece of clothing at a time as he watches. Even when you glance down to unfasten a zipper, you can feel his gaze on you, gentle but admiring. He's looking at you, really looking, for the first time since you left the hospital. Oh, I wasn't sure you'd be joining me. You're down to just about your underwear and bra, but you pause, glancing at him. Is that okay? I don't have to... He steps up beside you and presses a kiss to your lips as his hands reach around to unhook your bra. Yes, please. When he finally pulls back to look at you, he's breathing a little harder. You smile and slip out of your panties. Message received. You pull him towards the top and let him step in first to get settled before you slide in behind him. You ease him back until he's leaning against your front, cushioned by your breasts. Carter lets out a long sigh, skimming his hand over the water. Feeling a little better? Well, I'm naked in a bathtub with my girlfriend. I can't complain. Listen, he's not wrong. Good. You gently turn his head to the side so you can capture his lips in a kiss. Then I can feel how tense you are. Sit up for me. He straightens a little, his back still to you, and you kiss along his spine, making him groan. You cup water in your hands and let it dribble onto his head, and then you slide your hands up the back of his neck and begin to knead the sore muscles there. Yeah, no, that sounds nice. You carefully work your fingers over his scalp, alternating between a gentle massage and lightly raking his scalp with your nails. God, that feels good. I had a feeling it would. I've never seen you so tense. He rinses away the soap and knead his shoulders, trying to wash away his stress. But after a little while, he falls quiet. You can feel the tension seeping back in. I'm not sure I deserve all this attention from you. Yes, you do. You reach out and take his chin gently in your hand, tilting his head so you can look him in the eye. You don't deserve punishment for anything that happened today. You meant well, Carter. Yes, you messed up. That doesn't make you a bad person. It means you'll learn from this. I know you won't make that same mistake again. I'll try not to. But what if that's not just good enough? What if I put another patient's life at risk? Then you're only human. Mistakes do happen. But in my line of work, those mistakes can mean life or death. Then you keep learning. Keep training. Try to only make the right mistakes. But if you tell yourself you'll never make a single wrong decision ever again, that's setting yourself up for failure. He nods slowly, blowing out a breath through his mouth. Yes, you're right. He turns to you with a small smile. How did you get to be so wise? I mean, she is older than you. It comes with the years. It's a perk of going around the block a few more times than you. You reach up to stroke his cheek. So take it from your very wise girlfriend. You're a good man, Carter Dawson. You let your hand drop, tracing it lightly over his arms, and then slipping lower beneath the bathwater to run along his thighs. Lets out a low groan, and through the water you see, yep. Basically, it ended up being Bow Chicka Wow Wow in the tub. It's exactly what I needed. I know. Once you're both breathing normally again, you let the water out of the tub and help him to his feet. You tenderly dry each other off. And then you pad into Carter's bedroom, curl up with him beneath the sheets. When you pull him into your arms, he folds into you. Will you? Of course I'll stay. Not going anywhere. He sighs, leaning into you, and you hold him tight. Thank you. You lie there in silence as you try to radiate comfort for him, to show him that you love him. That's why it hurts so much to see him hurting. I'm in love with him. No, this is coming as a shock to me. The thought hits you with bittersweet clarity as you hold him in your arms, and it's the last thing on your mind when you eventually doze off. Anyone else shocked by that revelation? Sometime later, you wake to find him sitting up on the sheets around his waist, staring at the ceiling. Hey, what time is it? Late. I didn't mean to wake you. You didn't, but are you okay? I don't know. You sit up to look at him, and he reaches over to take your hand. It means the world that you still have faith in me, but this shook me, Fiona, bad. I know. Is there anything else I can do? It's more about what I can do, or maybe what I need to do. I've always struggled with getting too invested in my patients. I know stretching myself too thin isn't doing them any favors. No, it's not. And there is one thing you can do about that. You take a deep breath, force the words out even as your stomach churns. Maybe that is a sign we should slow things down between us. What? If our time together is impacting your work this much, what if we only saw each other once or twice a week? You'd have time to... He frantically shakes his head. No, that's not what I was trying to say at all. I know, but what other choice is there? I can think of one. He takes a deep breath before meeting your gaze. What if I don't want to be a doctor anymore? What if I gave it up? What? I could find something else to do. Take some serious me time. Hell, I could even come help you at the bakery. If I did that, I'd never have to choose between the world's most demanding job and you again. It gives you a hopeful smile, but it just makes your blood run cold. I gave up all my dreams for Sid. I spent a whole marriage regretting it. I can't let Carter do the same for me. This is your dream. You've spent years building this life for yourself. Isn't it about what you always wanted? He shrugs and looks down at his lap for a moment. Maybe it's not. People change. Maybe I've changed. Not that much. Oh, boy. We're about to have two things we're going to talk about at the end of this video. If you do this, you'll only resent me. I would never resent you, Fiona, and this isn't because of you or even for you. It would be for me. You can't promise me that, Carter, and this is not just about you. We both know it. He sighs and rubs a hand over his face. Okay, yes, wanting to be with you is part of it, but that just makes it more. He turns to you and takes both of your hands in his. You deserve everything I can give you, Fiona, not just the parts that are left when I'm done with work. I'm ready to give you that, whatever it takes. Carter, you can't. I can and I want to. In another life, you would have given anything to hear those words, but staring at him, all that you feel is cold, devastating understanding. He's set on this. If I choose my happiness being with him, he's going to throw away his, and he'll regret it for the rest of his life. There's only one way out, one way to stop him from throwing away his future for you. Trembling, you pull your hands out of his grasp. Then I can't do this. What? What are you... Saying the next 5 words is the hardest thing you will ever do. I'm leaving, Carter. We're done. Yeah, we need to talk. But first and foremost, if you did enjoy the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. There's also the join and support features. And, yeah, no. With viewers like you that do share this channel, do let people know this channel even exists, it's what keeps this channel growing, the community growing, and even keeps me on the radar, because otherwise I'm just some guy talking to the void. So, yeah, no. Anyway, so first and foremost, I'm going to be short about this so I can talk more in detail about the other thing that's actually far more important. So when it comes to high demand fields such as his, right, there comes some sort of sacrifice. There does. right? Especially when you're first getting yourself established, which, let's be honest, Carter is doing that. And he needs to focus on that. He does needs to get established. It's something that she was able to do a compromise. And it's something that a relationship really revolves around. Sometimes you do compromises. But make sure not to compromise too much of not just yourself, but the other person. A compromise is a good 50-50. Sometimes a 60-40 or whatnot. But make sure a compromise is fair for both parties, you know? It's kind of like when a person comes down sick, right? And you're not. You take care of them, right? Then you end up getting sick. You hope that that person will be able to do the same for you. That's what a relationship is literally and figuratively all about, right? Now, sometimes it's not always that perfect, or it sounds perfect, but it is true, right? All right, so on to the resentment part. The reason why I picked it is been there, done that, got a t-shirt, and like 2 decades of my life taken away. Um, you know, I'll just keep this short. I was like Carter. This is why I kind of like this story, but then I don't for its other reasons, but I like the story otherwise. Is because I can feel from both sides, right? I can see from Fiona's perspective, especially as a person who has gained many, many years and sacrificed my happiness for another person, right? Not for a relationship. I really wish it would have been that and whatnot, but I sacrificed it for family, right? And then I can also see from his perspective, being someone highly successful, and I'm making this choice because of someone else, but not because of love, but because of family. So my choice, literally and figuratively, initially was going to be temporary. And there was no compromising. There was no other choice because I needed to protect my one brother at the time from going through what I went through when I was a kid. And it was going to happen again. It literally, the signs were there, the cycle was repeating in the whole 9 yards. And so I had to make sure to at least step in there and establish him and make sure he was okay. Lo and behold, I got another brother, and pretty much both of them are, well, one can't walk, they're both special needs, they're both nonverbal, etc. So long story short is that temporary, hey, I'm stepping out of a successful job and everything else ended up being a permanent thing. And so along the way, I've tried to do other things to not resent people, or not to resent my brothers, or not to be an angry grouch, or not to hate the world. And a lot of days, it's a struggle. Literally, figuratively is. That's why I continue to do this. This content that you're seeing before you, that you're listening to, whatnot. I try and share my experiences and raise awareness and do all these things for people. A lot of people, I'm sure, will reply with, as they have in the past when I've talked about these things in other platforms and other ways, is, oh, that's so sweet of you, that's so nice of you, that's so everything. That's great. I don't care for that. I don't, it's nice and all to hear, but the whole 9 yards is now your Fiona's, you've already done it. You've sacrificed. You've given your all. You're trying something. And, like, this channel's not a bakery. Okay? Like, being a content creator is a hell of a lot harder than someone who makes and bakes cookies and cakes, and they have an established job, it pays, yada, yada, yada. Okay? When you're a person who this is all you can do because of also your circumstances and having to do everything else, and you're still giving every single day, even now, again, you try not to hate the world, resent the whole 9 yards. You continue to try and be optimistic and go, you know what, I've tried to take a really bad situation and something that I gave my whole entire life to, and at least try and make some semblance of at least satisfaction and something for me. So, that's where I'm at. I'll just end this thought with, let me know if you ever want to hear more, right? Maybe one day I'll tell my story, but otherwise, something that I'm trying to work on. If you've went to my, the clock app, You've seen my thing. It's pinned. It'll give you at least a glimpse behind the scenes. It's something that I can't put on this platform because they're very anti you talking about certain things. So, feel free to check out the clock app if you know what I'm saying. Feel free to ask for a thing to this specific video, but otherwise, um, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Like, I definitely understand both of their perspectives, the decision, the whole nine yards. I understand it both. The only thing that I can say is I'm trying to get my mentality back together after having that talk, is remember there was the plastic surgeon chick. He could still, I feel like there's still going to be a thing in the future where he goes, you know what? I think I'm going to choose to still be a doctor, but it's not going to be in the life-saving, I'm going to make a difference and make people happy kind of avenue, right? He may opt into that. Again, when it comes to these high-demand fields, it's kind of like Einstein, Oppenheimer, or any of these other people. They make choices, they make sacrifices, the whole nine yards, right? Like Einstein and Oppenheimer and everything else, while they were, doing what they were doing and changing the world as we know it, women weren't really at the forefront of relationships or whatnot. They had them, but they didn't have successful ones because their job was very heavily demanding. And there are times where these heavily demanding fields, people choose the heavily demanding fields and their life work balance is out of whack. It's a good 70-30, 80-20. And their spouse is at home and they kind of sacrifice. So, yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I've seen it all. I take these things in and I absorb them and I learn, and you may sit here and go, you're wise. Yes, I know. That's because kind of like her, I've been around the block quite a few times, but also at the same time, every night I try and go to bed with my brain tired from new things I've seen, learned, experienced, etc. every single day. That is my gift, but it is also my curse. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.